Mr. Zeldin.
You forgot about the fact of cleaning up
I have to
the
think,
LA
Mr.
wildfires.
Zeldin, I think, Mr. Zeldin,
President when I was in San Diego.
if your children were
the
drinking
Tijuana
water,
River sewage crisis,
if your
apparently
children
we're going
were
out on our
drinking
own for
water
that.
in Santa Ana, Mr. Zeldin, maybe you wouldn't be so cavalier about whether there was lead in their water. Maybe you would give a damn instead of coming in here and suggesting that any grant that takes lead out of the water must be waste, fraud, or abuse, because
Hello. Welcome back to Conservative Mandate Patriots. Today, we're diving into a fiery congressional showdown that exposes the radical left's hypocrisy and proves why conservative values are the only way to protect America's future. In this explosive hearing, Adam Schiff, a key figure of the Democrat elite, launched baseless attacks on EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, accusing him of dismantling environmental protections. But guess what? Zeldin didn't back down. He fired back with a line that's gone viral. I understand that you are an aspiring fiction writer. I see why. Before we get into this epic exchange, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss the truth the mainstream media refuses to tell. Stay with us until the very end, because we'll break down exactly what this means for America, and more importantly, what you could do to fight back. Now, Patriots, let's set the record straight. Adam Schiff, the same guy who spent years peddling conspiracy theories and wasting taxpayer dollars, came after Zeldin for daring to cut the EPA's bloated budget. Schiff is claiming these budget cuts will lead to cancer epidemics, polluted water, and dirty air. He even tried to tug at heartstrings with a story about a frozen grant for lead poisoning prevention in Santa Ana, California, saying 31,000 kids could be at risk. But let's be honest, California has been under Democrat control for decades. If they cared about clean water, why haven't they fixed the problem already? This isn't about—
Gentleman from California, Mr. Schiff, is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Zeldin, you've only been at the EPA for a few months, but in that time, you've done more to dismantle this agency than probably all of your predecessors put together. That may be a source of pride for you, but it is not for the American people. You've unlawfully terminated grants without justification. You've fired and pushed out some of the best scientists who inform EPA's decision-making. You refuse to spend money that Congress has appropriated to the EPA by law. And you've launched a pro-polluter effort to delete dozens of environmental protections. On top of all this, you've launched an effort to overturn California's Clean Air Act waivers that improve the quality of air breathed by 40 million Californians and by millions more in other states who have adopted California's high standards. That effort, for which my colleagues have decided to eliminate the filibuster to achieve, is not exactly what anyone would call cooperative federalism. But it's your budget that's the ultimate proof of your priorities. You propose cutting America's environmental agency by 55%, meaning that in your view, and that of President Trump, more than half of the environmental efforts of the EPA, more than half of the efforts to make sure Americans have clean air and clean water are just a waste. They're just a waste. Meaning that Californians and people all over the country, when they breathe the air, thanks to your good work, it'll mean there's more diesel and more other particulate matter in the air. When they drink a glass of water, they may not be able to see it, but this water that Americans drink is going to have more chemicals like PFAS, forever chemicals in their water. This will be your good work. I want to be very specific about the legacy you're going to leave if you're successful in eliminating half of our efforts to clean our water and our air. Your legacy will be more lung cancer. It'll be more bladder cancer. It'll be more head and neck cancer. It'll be more breast cancer. It'll be more leukemia and pancreatic cancer, more liver cancer, more skin cancer, more kidney cancer, more testicular cancer, more colorectal cancer, more rare cancers of innumerable varieties. That will be your legacy. I don't know that that's a legacy that anyone should want to have. My kids are going to be breathing that air just like yours. My family's going to be drinking the water just like yours. We may not be able to pinpoint just who gets cancer because you've done away with half the budget of those looking out for our clean water and clean air. But it's going to be somebody's kids, it's going to be somebody's family. To put this in more specific terms, there are 22 grants frozen by the EPA focused on improving health and reducing pollution, many of which directly impact children. For example, one project in Santa Ana, California, provided funding to help detect and prevent lead poisoning in children. According to the census, about 10% of the population in Santa Ana are under the age of 9. With a population of about 310,000 people, that means that 31,000 children are at risk of lead poisoning in Santa Ana without this funding. What is it about this grant that you and EPA believe is problematic enough to freeze this funding and put potentially 31,000 children at risk?
Senator, who is the grant applicant?
This is to the city of Santa Ana.
You have the biggest,
And are
you have
you-
the biggest
are you-
state, so
and
we're
are
going to have to
you-
go through every single list of the grant.
Well,
by the way, with that wind up, by the way, I understand that you were an aspiring fiction writer. I see why.
Oh, yeah. Well, I understand your view that you can cut half of the agency and it won't affect people's health or their water, their air. That to me is a big fiction, Mr. Zeldin.
You
And
forgot about the fact of cleaning up
I have to
the
think,
LA
Mr.
wildfires.
Zeldin, I think, Mr. Zeldin,
President when I was
if
in San Diego,
if your children were
with the
drinking
Tijuana
water,
River sewage crisis,
if your
apparently
children
we're going
were
out on our
drinking
own for
water
that.
in Santa Ana, Mr. Zeldin, maybe you wouldn't be so cavalier about whether there was lead in their water. Maybe you would give a damn instead of coming in here and suggesting that any grant that takes lead out of the water must be waste, fraud, or abuse because
The
because you
gentleman's
need
time has
because
expired.
you
Who said
need
that? The whole
the
thing,
money for a
everything
tax
you
cut
said
for rich people
your time. It's all
because
make-believe.
you're totally beholden to the oil industry.
The gentleman's time.
You could give a rat's ass about how much
is.
cancer
Because
your agency
you're trying to
causes.
destroy.
The
Impeach,
gentleman's
resist.
time has expired.
This isn't about protecting kids or the environment. It's about the left pushing their big government agenda and using scare tactics to control you. Schiff even accused Zeldin of being beholden to the oil industry and prioritizing tax cuts for the wealthy. Typical leftist rhetoric, right? They don't want you to know that Zeldin is fighting for smaller government, energy independence, and economic freedom. Things that actually help hardworking Americans. Schiff's rant was nothing more than a desperate attempt to score political points. He accused Zeldin of causing cancer, failing children, and destroying the planet, when in reality, it's Democrat policies that have failed our infrastructure, killed jobs, and made us dependent on foreign energy. Schiff's arguments are so absurd that Zeldin's comeback, calling him a fiction writer, was the perfect response. Patriots, this hearing wasn't just about EPA budgets. It was about the left's war on freedom, federalism, and common sense. They want to control every aspect of your life, what you drive, what you eat, even the air you breathe. But we're not going to let them. Leaders like Lee Zeldin are standing up to the mob, and it's our job to stand with them. This is a call to action. Share this video far and wide. Show the world that conservatives are not afraid to fight back. Comment below with your thoughts. Do you back Zeldin's fight for freedom? Or are you sick of the left's lies? Let's flood this platform with the truth they don't want anyone to hear. Together, we can build a movement that protects America's core values: faith, family, freedom, and limited government. This is about more than politics. It's about the future of our country. So stay loud, stay strong, and stay proud. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Conservative Mandate for more hard-hitting content that defends the principles we hold dear. Patriots, this is our moment. Let's take our country back. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.